Hi everyone, thank you all for joining us today. My name is Ben Weiner with Security Product Marketing here at Box, and today I'll be walking you through the latest and greatest ways Box is enabling our customers to better secure their content. Kicking things off, we'll be talking through the shifting and evolving world of cyber threats, looking at a few stats and trends that will help influence the landscape of security. Next, we'll highlight 3 of our big new up-and-coming launches, including enhancements to suspicious location rules to address a geofencing use case, defending and recovering from ransomware attacks, and expanding our security from the Content Cloud out into user devices and endpoints with our new CrowdStrike integration. Then, we'll cap it all off with a fireside chat with one of our customers in Kennedy Wilson. While cyber threats are ever-changing, there are a few trends that we all have to be aware of. Ransomware continues to remain the malware of choice for bad actors, with 70% of malware breaches including ransomware. When you add in the incredible damage that a single ransomware incident can cause an organization, we have to be ready. And it's not just malware attacks. Compromised credentials are responsible for a huge proportion of data breaches. It is essential to not just block malicious files, but to protect against the human element as well. And this is where Box can help. With every tool built on frictionless content security, from creation to collaboration, Box will provide the tools and controls to help you secure your most critical content. Now, before diving into our new solutions, I just want to take a second to show you how Box thinks about securing your content. We've built this framework around 5 key areas that are informed by the NIST cybersecurity framework and the CISA Zero Trust maturity model. And they cover everything from classifying documents to detecting malware to multi-factor authentication. Let's open up with a familiar problem, people as an attack vector. With 74% of data breaches involving the human element, it's important to protect against the hard reality that sometime, somewhere, some employees' credentials at your organization will likely be compromised by a bad actor. And often, what happens is that bad actor will sell those credentials on the black market, and international bad actors will use those to steal or corrupt critical content. To help protect against this, Box Shield has offered suspicious location detection rules. Now, this is a rule that allows you to identify either an allow list or a block list of certain regions of the world that will previously alert you whenever Box is accessed from those regions from a managed user account. Now, we're expanding that to automatically block access as well, making the response time even quicker and stopping bad actors in their tracks. And just to make sure that this is frictionless, we've also added an exemption process so that you can exempt certain, say, sales folk or executives that may be traveling and you know they're going to one of these regions. But let's take a quick look at this feature in action.
Hi, my name is Matt, and I'm here with Andrea. We're going to show you how organizations can leverage Box's security capabilities to alert and block access from unexpected countries or regions, securing your organization from login from compromised accounts and credentials. So let's get started. Acme Studios, a major movie studio, is very concerned about keeping their content secure, as leaked scripts or footage can severely impact their bottom line. Let's take a look at how Box can help prevent international bad actors from stealing and leaking the newest blockbuster before it hits theaters. We'll be looking at this scenario through the eyes of 2 Acme employees, Greg, who is our Chief Information Security Officer, and Jane, who is our Box Shield admin. Greg has tasked his team with identifying and restricting access to content by logins from international IP addresses. Recently, there's been a high prevalence of international bad actors seeking to steal sensitive content. Because of this, Greg wants to limit access to their content from people who are outside of the US. To kick off this initiative, Jane, Acme's Box Shield admin, creates an alert with Box Shield to identify when a login occurs from a suspicious location. First, Jane goes into the Shield console and clicks Create a new suspicious location rule from the list of detection rules available within Box Shield. Jane sets the alert to detect when there is a login from anywhere except the United States to ensure access is controlled. While putting the alert in place, Jane remembers that they do have some employees and trusted vendors, such as location staff, that are based abroad. She wants to keep them from being impacted by the new rule, so Jane adds their group as an exception, removing them from triggering an alert. Jane can set exemptions up for both individual users as well as specific domains. Next, Jane selects to also block users seeking to access Acme's box environment from prohibited regions. This new functionality ensures Greg and team are not only alerted to suspicious logins, but access is restricted and blocked from these international IPs. To finalize, Jane clicks Next, then Start Rule. Now, Acme Studios is set up with protection against international bad actors seeking to compromise their valuable pre-release content.
Great to see our new suspicious location protection in action. Another of the trends I mentioned earlier is ransomware, a hacker's favorite payload. Only 13% of organizations surveyed had not encountered ransomware at some point, and its exceedingly common nature means you'd better be ready to combat it and to recover from a ransomware attack that sneaks in. To push back against this, we will be deploying two new ransomware protection tools. The first tool, Content Recovery, is built to accelerate and improve the process for recovering corrupted, encrypted, or deleted files. No one is so secure that they shouldn't prepare to recover from an attack. And by cutting down the recovery process from potentially days or even weeks down to hours, organizations can save huge amounts of time and money. We will be deploying ransomware detection, a solution that detects ransomware before the infected files are synced to the cloud. By detecting and blocking these malicious files early, we can prevent it from propagating to the rest of your organization's content, keeping this ransomware just a blip on the radar. Finally, we recognize the very real threat that compromised devices can pose. If an otherwise responsible employee accesses a well-protected network, but uses a compromised device, bad actors still may be able to wreak havoc with your content. We get it, and to combat this real risk, Box is moving beyond the cloud and extending our security out to endpoint devices, starting with our coming integration with CrowdStrike. We will be ingesting CrowdStrike risk signals into Box and using them to block devices that are deemed too high risk. Now, let's take a first look at this new integration in action.
Hello, my name is Matt, and along with Keelan, we'll be walking you through deploying Box Endpoint Data Protection powered by CrowdStrike. Acme Financial Services is a global powerhouse in investment and wealth management who understands the paramount importance of safeguarding their valuable content from an ever-evolving landscape of threats. Among these concerns lies one that keeps their Chief Information Security Officer, Lucy, up at night: the rising tide of device security vulnerabilities and how this threatens their company's content. With a hybrid working model, Acme needs to ensure all users have the highest security posture possible to prevent data leaks. Let's see how CrowdStrike and Box can join forces to strengthen the protection of critical business content on these vulnerable devices.
The first action Lucy needs to take is to configure the Box and CrowdStrike integration. From the Box Administrator console, Lucy can enable the connection with only a few clicks. Once the systems are securely connected, Lucy can begin configuring actions based on those risk signals. This integration is able to leverage over 100 signals from CrowdStrike, allowing Lucy to configure the remediation actions based on the ZTA score, or the Zero Trust Assessment. Lucy has a security policy that indicates any ZTA score on a personal device less than 65 should result in immediate session termination. The configuration within Box provides flexibility to adjust the scores and logic as needed. Now that we have successfully configured the integration, CrowdStrike can monitor the end devices for Box. Recently, an external malicious actor started gaining Bethany's trust from social engineering techniques. He'd asked Bethany to make some configuration changes on her computer in order to gain access. As the applications were being installed, CrowdStrike immediately identified this as a risk changing her ZTA score. Now let's flip over to Bethany's browser. CrowdStrike instructs Box to immediately terminate all of Bethany's Box sessions across all of her devices with no exceptions. As she's actively using her desktop, she attempts to re-log in with her username and password or from single sign-on. Although she can successfully authenticate, she is presented with a message that she is unable to access any content stored in Box. In her case, the new score is below the safe values according to Acme's security policy. CrowdStrike will continue to prevent Bethany to log in until her machine has the correct security posture.
The Box Endpoint Data Protection, powered by CrowdStrike, empowers Lucy to not only safeguard all Acme's devices in their hybrid working model, but also fortify the security of the valuable content stored within them. Box's core security, Box Shield, and CrowdStrike provide a layered foundation to ensure risky actions and potential data leakage are prevented, logged, and the appropriate teams are alerted to initiate user education or incident research.
Last but certainly not least, I will be sitting down with one of our customers in Kennedy Wilson to talk through how they came to use Box and how it has helped them secure their critical content. And here we are, sitting down with Matt from Kennedy Wilson. How's it going today, Matt? Could you just tell us a little bit about yourself to start off and Kennedy Wilson?
You bet. I appreciate you having me. My name is Matt Stofka. I'm the head of information governance and records management for Kennedy Wilson. We are a global real estate investment company headquartered in Beverly Hills with about 260 employees. And we do everything in the real estate space, develop and invest in and own commercial and multifamily and debt investments.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Just to kick things off, how about you tell us a little bit about how you first engaged with Box and what kind of considerations you had in mind for that?
Certainly. So when I joined Kennedy Wilson in 2014, Box had grown organically at that point, and we had basically deployed some licenses for external collaboration use cases predominantly. And at that time, around 2015, we decided we really needed to centralize around one platform for better information governance because people were creating their own licenses on Box or on different other platforms. So we needed to basically centralize around one particular tool.
Perfect. And of course, today we're talking about security. So one of the things I wanted to ask you is what sort of security tools from Box have you been able to leverage at Kennedy Wilson, and what kind of impact have they made?
So, while security wasn't the driving factor with going out and procuring Box, it was really starting from that collaboration use case. Obviously, it was a very critical factor as we were figuring out our requirements. We needed to make sure that it met all of the necessary, regulatory security compliance requirements that we had. And it was great that obviously Box from the get-go, just the basic collaboration permissions levels was really important and better than some of the other tools we had. So just from an end user use perspective, it was great. And then, certainly there's they've made a lot of investment in different governance and security capabilities since then.
That's great. And has it helped you really do anything that you maybe couldn't have done otherwise without these Box security tools?
Certainly. So, we recently deployed Shield. We worked with the Box consulting team on a Shield implementation, which involved just building out our detection rules, building classification policies and access policies, and that was tremendous. We really relied on their help to think through that project, think through change management, to make sure that everything was set up accordingly with all the different impossible travel, anonymous downloads, and all of that. And where that really helped us is that it exposed for us activities that we were not aware of previously. So we might have our SOC team might ping us because they bring all of that Shield data into Sumo Logic, is the SIEM tool that we use, and they're able to see some of those activities that we were not aware of before, which has been incredibly helpful.
Great. And because we're at BoxWorks, of course, I have to ask you about the future. What kind of things are you looking forward to that maybe you've heard are coming out or looking for from Box in a security perspective?
Certainly. We enabled automated classification rules on our platform to identify personally identifiable information, things like passport numbers and social security numbers, credit card numbers, et cetera. And my understanding is that Box is coming out with more detection rules around that to be able to discover different types of personal information. So we're really looking forward to that. We just rolled out classifications officially very recently. So we are looking forward to continuing that effort and identifying and protecting our most sensitive information. I think there's also some changes to suspicious location automated response actions that are coming up too. So then you can immediately take action on, on data or an activity as opposed to just being alerted about it. So I think that's going to be really helpful for us and our security team.
Well, thank you so much, Matt, for joining us today and taking the time to tell us a little bit more about Kennedy Wilson and Box.
You bet. I appreciate the time. Thank you.
And thank all of you for joining us today to learn a little bit more about how Box is helping you improve your content security. If you'd like to learn even more, please join us at box.com/security.